Heritage on RFD-TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com.
We started this project with the landowner had two basic goals. One is that he wanted to use material from his land to build his, he's going to build a timber frame barn, and he's going to build a small cabin actually right in the spot I'm standing here. And because of the remoteness, it just made sense to cut the timber here and process it here so that he could work on that project. And we're going to be involved in that throughout too. What I'm trying to do as we're cutting is I'm trying to balance his building needs and the materials he needs for that, along with keeping a balance in the forest and trying to maintain what he's got here. And he's got some fantastic white pine. From a forestry standpoint, I want to leave some white pine here, some of the big majestic white pines for seed. It's got good genetics. The other is we want to open it up so there's enough sun so we can get some white pine to grow and get more diversity in our young stock. This is the ultimate in low impact and lessening your footprint. One is we're using the horses to the log, so that has minimal damage compared to anything else. We're not using gas. You know, there's all kinds of reasons for horses. Second is we're sawing on site. It just makes sense that if you can process it on site, you're dropping your transportation costs, lessening your footprint. And what's even better than that is when you saw it on site and then you build something out of it, which is what we plan to do here. So this is about as efficient a use of materials as you're ever going to get right here. Watch limbs coming. We started with the logging and sawing up on this ridge and in the area, and we sought out materials for a timber frame barn and a cabin. Well, now we're working on the cabin here and utilizing some of the materials that we worked on last winter, and she's coming along real well. This is a nice little small cabin up on a ridge. It's overlooking a lake, and we've got the infamous swamp behind us. We had a heck of a time. We started out with the horses pulling materials up, but unfortunately the horses started punching through the swamp. And we had to pull the horses off. Unfortunately, we had to hand carry everything that we didn't get over with the horses. We set the foundation just about as soon as the snow melted and we could get in here and start setting the foundations, and then we let that set for a while. We started on the bottom here with some 6x6s that we've sawed out.
We can bring that one back, back in
get that other one now.
And then we set our plates up on top and worked off from that. Most of the material here is home sawed lumber, and I really like this concept of, if you talk about carbon and conserving our carbon base, this is about as efficient as you can get, where we log it, saw it, and utilize it right on the same site. Some of the material that's in this cabin right now, there's a stump right in front of the cabin here, and some of this material come right off of that tree that's sitting in front of it, so you can't get a whole lot more efficient than that. Basically about the only thing we bought for the cabin were the windows, the doors, the tin on the roof, the plywood, and the insulation. Come here, Doc. This is Doc. He's my new puppy. He's 9 weeks old now, and he's already learned how to climb ladders, and and he's turned into a woods dog. He's made about 100 trips across the swamp. Well, this is the lake that we've been working on in the ridge here. We've got the cabin up the hill from us, and been spending a lot of time here. This is just an absolute beautiful setting. Just across the lake here is the boundary waters, and on beyond that is the Canadian border. And I don't believe that there's a road between here and there. You can go about 40 miles in that direction and not really hit much of anything. So this is pretty remote, and it is so peaceful here. We're a half a mile from the road, and the road is 8 miles from the blacktop. And we've got a beautiful lake in front of us. This area is really true to my heart. I sure enjoy coming back here and spending time. When we started this project, the snow was literally up to my waist. So each tree we had to dig down as far as we could.
Gets those pounded in, then you cut that trigger in the back, and then yeah.
In this case, we cut this tree here, and we laid it down in that direction. And from the stump to there, I cut that material and we sawed it out into materials for either the cabin or the barn. But we left all of our top logs, our small logs, and we're going to utilize some of that for the cabin. We're going to make some stairways out of it, and we're also going to use it for posts on the front of the porch. So I've got some draw knives here, and I'm going to work on this right where it lays, and then we'll pick it up and turn it as we need it. This is white pine, and this white pine bark just comes right off like butter. As you can see here, this bark is just coming off fantastic. Now this is pretty green, but being that we're using it in a vertical fashion as a post, wood doesn't shrink in length as it dries, it shrinks in diameter, so diameter is not important in this application. So we'll peel the bark and let it dry as it stands on the porch. I like to have the character around the knots and stuff. So I don't cut the knots super tight, but I want to definitely show where the knot's at and have it come out a little. Well, we're going to get ready to cut our log to length here so we can pull it out of the brush here. So I'm going to cut up some of this material here so we can get out easier. We're going to have to hand carry this out. The horses are not able to get back here at this time with the swamp being broke up, so this is going to take some manpower. So I want to make it as easy as possible for them. So we'll do a little housekeeping here and get things ready for the boys to take out. So before we get them up to the cabin, what we want to do is I've cut a V-crotch in the stump here. We're going to bring the log up here, set it in the V-crotch so it's stable. Then we can peel the bark off with the draw knife a lot easier. So we'll have the boys pick it up here and they'll bring it up here. Why don't you go ahead and we'll get it up here and then we'll get going on it. There we go. Yeah, I just push her up just a hair more. There you go. If you angle it like this and you get underneath the bark, you can just slide it right up. And then get around the knots here. This is red pine here, and it cuts a little different than the white. That white peels off in long strips, and this kind of flakes off. So we'll get finish up on the poles, and then I can start working on the steps. Well, we've got quite a few logs peeled here. We've got our step logs that we're going to have going up at an angle, and then we've got our porch posts ready to go in. Now in the center of the porch, we're going to put one piece in there to help support the porch. Things are coming along real well. Well, we're getting down to the last day here, and by the end of the day we should be pretty much done with this, other than clean up and packing some of this stuff out. This has been a great project. We started in beginning of March, and we did some logging and sawing and open up this ridge. This was a challenge. Well, we'll do a little bit of a tour of the place here. We got the front porch here and utilized some of the logs here. I like to leave a little bit of limb on here so you can hang things on it and get the jackets or shirts, or in our case canteens and backpacks. And then this is something that actually surprised me in here, was we've got the windows and doors back here, and the air comes up, the cool air comes up from the lake and up the hill, comes through the windows here and the door, and then we go to the back window here and creates kind of a airflow going through here that really makes it comfortable. Got a south-facing window here. We put a little bench here to set things on, and it was slab wood. We just utilizing materials that were left over. So I left the north wall open here, or no windows or anything. And I think at some point in time, the owner probably will put a wood stove in the corner here. And then back here, maybe a cot or table or something. So being that this is the north wall and this is the north country, we insulated that and made a solid wall out of it so that we could keep it cool and warm in the wintertime. We took all the scrap material and set it underneath the cabin, and he can use that for firewood. And won't take long to burn that up. Not much left there. That's pretty much it. And the material over here in the tin is going to be used for the outhouse, and be very, very little left. Well, we've pretty much completed the inside here. The whole inside is lined here with insulation, and pretty much everything in here is from our process, our logging and sawing. We run 1x6s up the walls and 1x8s on the ceiling here, and then it's very well insulated. We put 2 windows in the front towards the lake, and we got a nice breeze that comes up the hill and through the windows and doors, and can go out the back. So it's real cool in the summer, and with the insulation it should be pretty tight and sound in the wintertime. Now obviously if we're logging and sawing, a lot of our lumber is green, and so that has some concern. So one of the things we did in putting our siding on was we overlapped our siding, and so it allows the siding to contract when it dries more. I mean, it's dried some, but it's got more to dry. and then it won't affect the way it sits on the side of the building. It gives it room to move, and we nail it in such a way so that it can move. Now, this is one of the things I really enjoy when I'm doing projects like this, is taking scrap material and actually finding a purpose for them. This was slab wood off the mill. It was cut a little thick, and we could have taken another board off from it, but in this case, we just left it and trimmed the sides up and made a rustic chair out of it. Took limbs off the trees that we had out here and made some legs for it, and makes it a nice little sitting bench. And I set it up so that you can actually rock in it. It's balanced just right, so you can lean back and rock in it. Well, we just put the last nail in the cabin here a little bit ago, and we got her all done. We just got a little bit of cleanup to do, and we're going to build an outhouse here, and kind of use up the scrap materials for the outhouse. And basically, when we're done here, in another day or so, there won't be hardly anything left. This one really went well. Doc, what you barking at? Huh? What you barking at, Doc? There we go. The beginnings of an outhouse. Won't take long. By the end of the day, we should have that pretty much wrapped up. This has been a lot of fun, and sure hope you enjoyed the process here, and come on back and see us at Rural Heritage.
This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of Back to the Land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website www.ruralheritage.com to shop online.